Hi everyone, it's me, Maple, and today we're going to do another EMDR session together, which is a therapeutic structured tool that will hopefully help you heal from negative past life experiences. EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and basically what happens is you'll be asked to think of a negative past event or emotion alongside some other sort of stimulus. So, for example, following my fingers while going a little bit quickly. And basically what happens is over time, this kind of overloads your brain, and hopefully you'll be able to think about these past experiences more objectively instead of with an automatic emotional response. There is a fair bit of crossover between ASMR and EMDR, which I think makes this a very accessible environment for people who might not be ready to commit to a full session. But since this is a more serious topic, I do have some disclaimers before we begin. The biggest one for sure is I am not a licensed therapist. I am not trained in this. I have done a lot of research on the matter since I do take it very seriously, but obviously that doesn't replace professional training. So I do strongly ask you not to use this in place of actual therapy, especially if you are feeling in a particularly bad spot. I do urge you to seek professional help. But with that being said, I understand that a lot of people don't have access to a therapist, or they may not want to go to a therapist for a variety of reasons. And so I think these videos kind of help as a stepping stone to hopefully get people to pursue actual therapy. I've personally been helped by these kinds of videos, in particular some by Karuna Satori, which I'll link down below. She's wonderful. But so my hope with these is that I can pass it on and hopefully help you guys out there. But one final trigger warning before we begin. Since the very nature of this session is to kind of bring up and relive negative past experiences, I want to make sure that this is something that you are prepared for. So if you're not feeling prepared for it, or if this doesn't sound like something you want to do, that's completely fine. I have many other videos on my channel that are purely for relaxation, if that's what you're looking for. But if you would like to continue, I would also like to say that if at any point you feel like something is wrong, or you feel uneasy, or maybe you're just feeling overwhelmed by the emotions, please just pause the video, take your time. Your mental health is our priority, and I want to make sure that this feels like a safe space for you. So even if you have to click off the video halfway through, that's perfectly fine. It's not giving up, it's just you knowing your boundaries with your own mental health, which is a great way of showing some self-love. But with all of that out of the way, let's begin. So we're just going to do some square breathing just to calm our state of mind a bit. For those of you who don't know, square breathing will be inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and holding for 4. So we'll do 3 of those together. So in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, and one more, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now for choosing the memory or negative life experience that you'd like to tackle today. If this is your first EMDR session, I recommend doing something that doesn't have as much emotional weight on you, that doesn't have as strong as an emotional response. And then if you feel safe about it, then you can work your way up to bigger and bigger issues. But I trust you, and I trust that you know your own mental health and what you're capable of. So once you've selected your memory or past experience, I'd like you just to take a couple moments and think about what emotions this memory brings up in you. I want you to think of what immediate thoughts this kind of brings to your head, and just in general how this memory makes you feel. Maybe there's even a physical tic that you have associated with it. But let's just do some nice deep breathing. If you feel like you want to, you can tell me what your memory is. If not, you can just keep it to yourself. Okay? Good, good, good. If you don't feel like you're ready, feel free to pause the video, but when you do feel ready, we're going to start with our first section of the session. I'm going to give a couple of options this time, so I'll be moving my fingers back and forth, and you can follow along, or you can do something that's called butterfly tapping or butterfly shoulders, I've heard, where you rhythmically switch between tapping your own shoulders. And so you can either follow both, or you can even close your eyes. Whatever feels the most comfortable and whatever feels the most right to you, because that's what this session is all about. So, in a moment, we're going to begin. I'm not going to speak while we do each 1 to 2 minute section, but what I'd like you to do is bring to the front of your mind this memory, what emotions it causes you, and I want you to just naturally go with any new thoughts that come along, as long as they're related to this memory. If you find your mind starting to wander, just take a deep breath and bring it back to the memory. But if you have a new thought that has to do with the memory, just naturally allow your mind to follow whatever thought process, as long as you don't stray too far. Okay? Perfect. So let's begin our first section. Okay, good. Let's take a deep breath. Good, good, good. Again, if you ever feel like you need to pause to process something, that's fine. But for now, I'd like you to share to me what kind of new thoughts came up with you. Okay. And was there some sort of major emotion or major thought that kind of overshadowed all the other ones? Okay, then we're going to do our second section, and I'd like you to just follow along with that thought. This time, though, I'm going to ask you to switch. So if you were following my fingers, maybe try the butterfly shoulders. If you were doing those, try following the fingers. But again, whatever feels more comfortable to you, I'd just like to try out both to see which one you like more. But when you're ready, let's begin. Good. Another deep breath. Did any new thoughts come up for you there? Okay. It's fine either way. For our next little section, I'd like you to kind of pick either a phrase or one specific strong emotion that you felt because of this memory. So, for example, if you felt powerless, that could be your emotion, or your phrase could be, I felt powerless. Okay? And I'd just like you to think on that emotion or phrase for our next section. And I promise the one after is going to be a bit nicer. Okay? But again, just focusing on both the memory and the stimulus. Let's begin. Okay, good. Deep breath. Good job. I'm very proud of you for tackling this. Were there any new thoughts that came up for you there? Any new emotions? Okay, yeah. For this next one, we're going to do something a bit more positive. I'd like you to take this emotion or phrase that you had from the last section, and I would like you to reverse it. So, if you felt powerless, I would like you to think about feeling powerful in this same situation. If your phrase was, I feel powerless, I want your phrase to be, I feel powerful, related to that past event. Okay? When you're ready, as always, let's begin. Okay, good. Deep breath in, deep breath out. You're doing so well so far. So, in that last section, were there any new thoughts that you had? Okay. So, if you did have a new thought that you felt strongly about, let's carry on with that. If not, let's just go back to repeating the opposite version, so the positive version. Okay, good. And okay, good. Deep breath in, deep breath out. For the next section, I'd like you to think something slightly different. I'd like for you to imagine if a friend came to you and they told you that they had gone through the experience that you are trying to tackle. I'd like you to imagine yourself comforting that friend, what you would say to that friend, and what things you think would help them feel better about the situation. Okay? Yeah. So, when you're ready, let's begin. Okay, good. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. You are doing so well so far. Did you have any new thoughts during that section? Was there anything in particular that you thought you would say to your friend, or how you would help them feel better? Okay, I'd like you to just carry on with that line of thinking, and we're going to begin our next section. Okay? Good. Okay, good. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good, 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 good. Okay, we only have 2 sections left. For this next one, I'd just like you to go back to that positive version of the statement you had, or the positive version of the emotion. Okay? Good. And okay, good. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good, good, good. For our last section, I'd like you to imagine a you in the future who has healed more from this past memory. It doesn't have to be healed all the way if that seems unobtainable to you. It doesn't have to mean a world where everything is sunshine and rainbows, but I'd like for you to imagine a self that accepts that this bad thing happened, but has moved on and made a positive life for themselves despite that negative memory. Okay? So we're going to begin our last section. And Okay, good, good, good. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Good. I am very proud of you for giving yourself some self-love, some self-care, and trying to get yourself to a better place. It's really commendable. I will say that one session isn't going to fix all your problems, even many sessions. Some people just feel like this isn't for them, but I really hope that you at least got something small out of this session together. I'm just going to transition to a more ASMR element now to kind of cool us down. But I'm just going to do a bit of gentle face brushing. So if you don't want this, you can leave, but if you would, I'm just going to get a little bit closer. And I'm just going to brush very gently. You can imagine all the negative thoughts that you had in the session just getting brushed away. To make room for new, brighter memories that you're going to make in the future. I think that the main thing with negative past experiences is not to hide from them or run from them, but to accept that they happened, but then move on from there and make a positive life for ourselves and treat ourselves with love and respect and also grace and forgiveness, because we are not perfect. We're only human, and so it's okay to make mistakes. I also want to mention that since this was a more serious video, I wanted to remind you that my email is down below. So if you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to, that isn't true. I might not be able to respond right away, but I do try to respond to any serious email that I get. But so even if it feels like there's no one out there who cares for you, that's not true. But you've already done the hard work for today, so you don't need to think about any of that for right now. For now, you can just relax. Good, 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 good. Good. Perfect. Okay. That's going to be all for today. Like I said, I hope you got something out of this session. If you did, I would love to hear about it, either in a comment or in an email if you don't feel comfortable posting about it in public. But I genuinely, very truly hope you are doing well, and I hope that you do even better in the future. And I'll see you next time.